We continue our work, and after our break, we have very interesting, creative masterpiece. The first guest, Sanjeev, and very creative person will show you original song. Yeah? Please attention. We invite you here. Your 2-3 minutes for praise.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all of you. I'm very grateful, very thankful to all of you. I am very much pleased to be a part of this great conference. And really, I am thankful to Misra sir.
Recording in progress.
He's a great person, kind person, and knowledgeable person in his subject. And worldwide, he's a very popular. I have heard, I have listened so many videos, and I really appreciate his efforts in his field. So just I'll take 2-3 minutes. I'll sing a song. The song is related to Rama, Krishna, Shiva and Vishnu all together. And meanwhile, I would like to explain you also the meaning of the song. So because microphone is there, so I have to go on dashboard and there only I'll sing. थोड़ा कम बोली करने के लिए अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं थोड़ा वोकल बढ़ा दीजिएगा तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं Who says God don't eat?
शेर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम।
And in next line, who says God is not sleeping? God also sleeping, but you have to have the emotion.
सोते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान, सोते नहीं माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं।
Who says God do not dance?
गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं।
अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम।
राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम।
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In Bollywood, especially in Indian cinema, one very old and famous legend artist, Raj Kapoor, I think you know, all of you, and he was very famous, especially in Russia. So, from one of his film, very popular song, I would like to sing, and then you can start the next session of the conference. Okay, thank you.
जीना यहाँ
मरना यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। जीना यहाँ, मरना यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। जी चाहे जब हमको आवाज़ दो, हम हैं वही हम थे जहाँ, अपने यही दोनों जहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। ये मेरा गीत जीवन संगीत, कल भी कोई दोहराएगा। ये मेरा गीत जीवन संगीत, कल भी कोई दोहराएगा। जग को हंसाने बहरूपिया, रूप बदल फिर आएगा। स्वर्ग यहीं, नरक यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। जी चाहे जब हमको आवाज़ दो, हम हैं वहीं हम थे जहाँ, अपने यहीं दोनों जहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। And very important line, tomorrow maybe we are not here or here, but moon and light, sun will be existing. कल खेल में हम हो न हो, गर्दिश में तारे रहेंगे सदा। कल खेल में हम हो न हो, गर्दिश में तारे रहेंगे सदा। भूलोगे तुम भूलेंगे वो, पर हम तुम्हारे रहेंगे सदा। रहेंगे यहीं अपने निशान, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। जी चाहे जब हमको आवाज़ दो, हम हैं वही हम थे जहाँ, अपने यही दोनों जहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। जीना यहाँ, मरना यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ। Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for these great peoples. And now we begin our second part of our conference, and I invite the presentation of International Union of Universology Academies. Natalia Grishaeva can tell us about educational programs of our academy.
Good afternoon, dear participants of the conference. I represent the International Union of Academicians of Universal knowledge, which is represented in many countries of the world and comprises the 50 cities. The International Union of Academies is engaged in the practice of application of knowledge universal laws.
The Academy reveals the meaning of life and teaches consistency in the rapport with other systems of life. In education, the Academy serves a pilot platform for the application and implementation of universal models. The esoteric essence of the Academy is to assist the progressive part of humanity to enter the White Lodge of Shambhala, through creation of stages of spiritual and professional growth for decimals of the hierarchy in everyday serving. Our Academy Union is a practice of life that approximates the image of the future. It is the organization of scientific research activities. It is the provision of personnel. It is a system of continuous education with subsequent employment. It is the training of a human creator through innovative technologies of life of the future. It is growth and equality of opportunities for self-expression in the collective hierarchy. The Academy implements the educational program Mental Psychosystem Modeling, from the inner world to the world of the future. This program develops non-standardness of figurative sensual logical thinking through the formation of the image of the future. A new profession has appeared, a specialist of universal neurohologram modeling. The Union of Academies implements the educational program System of Public Self-Governance. The program allows to effectively organize the life activity of society through collective strategy. There is a new profession, Ambassador of Peace, mastering the art of balanced, nature-oriented, self-organization of public and international relations. The Union of Academies implements the educational program Protective Circle of the World. The program contributes to the creation of the eco-balance of the planet, a unified program of coordinated development of all the kingdoms of nature in the world community, where universal goals and values based on the laws of nature are in force, where each person and team embodies the purpose inherent in it. The International Union of Academies creates Laya centers, cities of masters, cities of the future, enterprises of a new type in different cities and countries. Introduces the system of public self-governance in life and cooperates with the public. 1-2. We show an image of hidden unity, hold forums and festivals of world cultures, of all 12 civilizations. We hold conferences, round tables, debates, public hearings. Academy research teams discover places of power through mindful travel.
We are happy to cooperate. Thank you for your attention.
We are grateful for our academy It's a practice of our universal knowledge, and I think all of our practice we will show tomorrow in our session groups. But now we continue our work of the conference.
Yes. So we have one of our friends. She teaches philosophy in the Amity University in Noida. Her name is Dr. Astha Mishra. So she will present her topic now. Dr. Astha.
Excuse me. Some light. So good evening, everybody. The topic I've chosen for my presentation basically is outpacing the liberating purpose of education, establishing the transforming effect of it. So I don't mean to dismiss the word liberation here when we talk about education, but what I want to do is to consider the transformative aspect of education. So by transformation here, what I mean is not only change, it means a sense of evolution, just the way Professor Mishra and also Dr. Akhil Singh spoke about, which is the idea that education is like a process. It's a perpetual ongoing thing. So the questions that I shall consider in my presentation, I'm sorry, I don't have a PPT. So the questions I shall consider basically are, how can we think of going beyond a liberating to a transforming model of education? How can we understand the emergence and characteristics of this approach? And lastly, and the most important of all, how can we cultivate and apply this approach? So since I belong to philosophy, I have two thinkers here whom I would study and exhibit their insights. The names of those thinkers are, first of all, as Sir has an expertise in the philosopher thinker, the Guru, Sri Aurobindo, and the second is Jiddu Krishnamurti. So as we know, the education system is tightly gripped by its obsession and theoretical knowledge, quantifiable outcomes and standardized evaluation. It vindicates materialistic and acquisitive pursuits, as Dr. Singh pointed out, and emphasizes a terrestrial progressive approach to human development. So, in the Western realm, we know of thinkers like John Dewey, who talks about the theory of inquiry, which holds that education is a problem-solving process, and we learn by doing and by having an opportunity to react in real life situations. It should bring about equality, liberty, and fraternity. Similarly, in the Western realm, we have Freire, who talks about the banking idea of education, which was earlier discussed. Now, we also have in contemporary discourses philosophers of the West, such as Nyerere, who brought about the liberating elements of education. Now, what do these two thinkers, Indian philosophers, talk about when they refer to the transformative or the transforming angle of education? So as we know, Sri Aurobindo uses the metaphor of the truth of man and the idea of truth in education. So it is to argue here that education implies something beyond a sense of liberation, a tool for gaining equal rights or full social or economic opportunities. Besides, the purpose of this paper or my presentation is to perceive education as a form of transformation in which education becomes the evolution, number one, evolution of human consciousness, a process of being and becoming, which is a very philosophical notion here. So in plain words, my submission is that to engage in transformation of myself and others towards liberation is the right understanding of education. So for me, transformation comes before liberation. Now, the two thinkers that I refer to basically, which is Sri Aurobindo and Krishnamurti. So Sri Aurobindo, as we know, advocates the notion of universal humanity, which originates from the inner nature and disposition of an individual, namely Swabhav and Swadharma. Now, what is this transformative angle in integral education? So, in the Indian milieu, the true spirit of integral philosophy could be located in Gandhi's conception of integral humanism, Aurobindo's idea of integral yoga and integral Vedanta, and Vivekananda's idea of integral humanism. Now, this perspective of transformative education basically upholds the fundamental principle of education, which unites the rational, the spiritual, the holistic aspects of education. Now, a very famous scholar called Dr. R.K. Mukherjee, he says, learning in India through the ages had been prized and pursued not for its own sake, if we may so put it, but for the sake and as a part of religion. It was sought as the means of self-realization, as the means to the highest end of life, which is mukti or emancipation. Now, Sri Aurobindo, what does he say about this transformative essence in education? So first of all, he highlights a metaphor, which is the metaphor, as I understand it as a metaphor, true education and the truth of man, which is the composition of the physical, vital, mental, psychic and spiritual aspects of man, plus those aspects in education. And what does Krishnamurti say? So Krishnamurti has a similar stance, where he says that we have this idea of flowering, which he refers to in the book on education, 1974. So he talks about right education as something which is like flowering or blooming or evolving. So for him, that is the right education. So I'm referring to these two thinkers mainly because what I feel and understand is that the concept of true education in Aurobindo and the idea of right education in Krishnamurti are quite similar. Because number one, both these thinkers talk about the integral aspect, and the second of all, both of these thinkers talk about the transformative aspect of education. So now, I'll just skip some parts. Yeah, in the context of knowledge acquisition or education, two attitudes play a very important role that Krishnamurti highlights. First is the religious spirit, and the second is the scientific temperament. This only speaks of the idea that he refers to an integral or a holistic or a comprehensive version of education. And here, just to clarify, we don't mean religion as something which refers to any sort of dogma or belief. Religion here basically entails an idea of sacred consciousness, a consciousness that has transcended all egoism. So, right education comes from the transformation of ourselves. We must learn to be compassionate, to be content with little and seek the supreme, for only then can there be the true salvation of mankind and humans. So, these two thinkers, where do they meet? They meet in the unification aspect, number one, and second of all, they meet in their transformative philosophical idea, which they refer to as the main purpose of education. Just to highlight, since I have done Aristotle and Greek thinkers as well, there is a concept called telos, which means the ultimate end or goal. So these thinkers have talked about the purpose aspect more than the functionality aspect. So purpose means something which you are always seeking to achieve, or we can say it has an end, the goal. So both these thinkers meet in that, that sphere or that bracket where both of them talk about this integral plus this transformative aspect of education. So just to summarize, for Krishnamurti, the right kind of education does not simply produce engineers, doctors, pilots, scientists, but a human being who is alive, who is fresh, who is eager. If one is a human being, one is not a specialist, but a total entity, metaphysically speaking. An educated mind is one that thinks, that is active. Alive, it is a mind that looks, watches, listens, feels, and evolves. So that's my submission, that by referring to the philosophies of these two great thinkers, the integral aspect of the philosophy, we can talk about the transformative aspect before the liberating aspect of education. So thank you so much, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for very interesting view on transformating education. And we continue our work, and for stage we invite Dana Sikho, International Coordination of the Scientific School of Systemic Worldview, Ukraine. You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Подожди, мне зум надо выключить. Зум надо выключить, а то он тут говорит, не будет слышать. А у тебя ролики со звуком? Да. Ну, там не обязательно. Сейчас, минуточку. Все. На целый экран даю? Да. Сейчас я спрошу, как у них звук включается.
Опуститься, да? International Coordinating Council of the Scientific School of the System Worldview. Mass public organization, unite progressively thinking people. What we do? We form collective consciousness of the planet through unity of people and formation of created image of the future. We reveal the uniqueness and creative potential of the person. We help to integrate into the work of the team, collective, society. Through mentoring, we guide through the steps of spiritual development on the path of discipleship. Unite different peoples and cultures for the sake